Welcome to the third module of the JavaScript course. And in this module, we are going to see about functions, a lot of things about functions and how can we call a function, how can we pass an argument to a function. There are function expressions and function declaration, function statement. And meanwhile, while seeing functions, we will also see something about arrays and objects, which are all uh, very much of more importance to the JavaScript world. So, if you are from other languages, you should be understanding what exactly is an array and object is. But here, array and objects plays a vital role than any other programming language. Okay, so also we'll see how to add new elements to arrays and other stuffs. Okay, so as usual, let's start with functions. Okay, so in the previous chapter, we have seen about variables and lots and lots of variables, operators, and other stuffs. So as you know, variable is a container for holding your value. For example, age holds a value of 77. Likewise, function is function has two main things. Function is a container for your business logic, and it is going to perform an action over and over, if you call it. So if you want to calculate age for set of 3 or 4 people, you don't have to do the same thing again and again. You can just write out a function and call the function, so that it will happen over and over how many times you call it. It's sort of a what do you say, it's sort of a container on which you can pass arguments, and in turn it will give you the results, so you don't have to write your code again and again. So enough of explanation. Let's write it over and understand this. Okay, uh, okay, so let me start uh, calculating age for a set of 3 people. Let's take var mohan mohan age equals equals uh, I mean, what I'm going to do is I'm going to declare Mohan's age. Let me just say, like, I'll declare Mohan's age and var Chandru age and var Ram age. Okay, so we are going to calculate these three guys age. Okay, so generally for calculating age, what we are going to do is uh, Mohan age equals current year, which is 2019, minus his date of birth. Okay, so what we are going to have, we are going to have another variable Mohan TOB. Let's say he has born in the year, sorry, he has born in the year 1979. Okay, so what we are going to do is we are going to pass this here. Likewise, I'm going to declare 3 more variables, Chandru DOB, and I am born in 1989, and Ram, his date of birth is going to be 1993. Let's calculate all these 3 persons age. So I'll just paste it over. So instead of Mohan, I'll put Chandru, and Ram DOB. Okay, so let's console log all of this. Oops, I missed something here. Okay, so let me console log everything. And let's go live. Hmm, 5500. It's not opening, so let me open. Localhost. Oops, localhost 5500. Localhost is not found. Okay, should be a colon, right? Okay, so it is running now. This is for live server. So let's inspect this, and if I go to console, 40, 30, 10, 26. So these are the ages. Mohan's age is 40, and Chandru's age is 30, and Ram's age is 26. Okay, but what we have done is we have written the business logic again and again and again. So we have to follow a principle called as dry in software most of the time. Dry is don't repeat yourself. So you have to follow this principle always. So you don't have to write your business logic again and again. Instead, what you have to do is you have to create a function and you have to pass the values as argument to find out the age. So let me do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to comment these things out, and let's write a function here. So to write out a function, just follow the syntax. Function calc age. You are going to calculate the age and start with a braces and a flower bracket here. Okay, so we start and end it with a bracket and a flower braces here. So our business logic goes here. Our business logic is to console.log of something which comes here. Okay, so we are going to pass, we need to calculate everyone's age, we need to pass this one, right? Mohan's date of birth and Chandru's date of birth and Ram's date of birth should come into this function so that we can calculate the age by subtracting it from 2019. Okay, so I'm just passing it as I need date of birth as an argument. The part which goes in between these two brackets is called as parameter or arguments. So this date of birth I'm going to subtract from 2019 from, okay, this is a formula. So to call this calculated age and to pass this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to calculated age, I'm going to pass Mohan's date of birth 1979, sorry 79, right? And for okay, let's see whether we are getting the value 40 as we got before. Yep, so we have got Mohan's age, and to get Chandru's age I'm going to pass 1989. So if I pass this, I should get 40 and 30. and for Ram's age I'm going to pass 1993. 40, 30, 26. Yes, we have got what we were expecting. So I hope you guys would have understood now. To call a function, you don't have to repeat your coding logic here. See, instead of these many 6 lines, what I have done is I have simply called a function. Now, for calculating whoever's age, you can just call this function. This is how you have to call a function. All this function and pass the argument here. And also there can be multiple arguments. You can have it. Let's move this 2019 into a separate one. Let me take var current year equals 2019, and in that case let's call you can have two arguments here. What I'm going to have is year comma date of birth. So if calculated age takes two arguments, then while passing calculated age here you have to pass two arguments here. And instead of 2019 we can pass year. Now we should get okay. The problem is we have to pass this here, so we haven't declared that, so it is giving us the error. So we have passed current year minus date of birth. Okay, so we have got the same value 40, 30, 26. I hope you have understood. We can have single parameter, just a DOB we were passing and we were hard coding this. Now if the year changes, just change it to 2020, and you don't have to change anywhere again and again. Previously we were changing it, now you don't have to change it, it automatically updates it to 1. Okay, this is how you can call a function with set of parameters here. Okay, so you can have this calculated age function called as many times as you wish with a set of arguments, and this is just going to call this function. You don't have to repeat your business logic again and again here. So this is called as the drive principle in software industry. Okay, this is the most basic thing for a software developer. Okay. Okay, let's do the same example in a different manner. So now if you could see, you are not finding whose whose age is 41 and whose age is 31 and whose age is 27. So for that, what we are going to do is we are going to catch this value here, variable. I'm going to take it as Mohan's age. I'll do for Mohan, then you can do for for remaining two guys. Okay, so variable Mohan age is calculate this one. So if you calculate this value, you will get something, right? So I'm going to console log that. Okay, so I have console log this. So you don't have to console log here. I'm going to remove it. So if I expect a variable here, a value from this one, what I have to do is I have to return. What I'm going to return is year minus DOB. Okay, so for every variable we are going to to get this, expect a value from this, we have to return something from the function. So here what I'm returning is I'm returning year minus DOB, which is the which will give the value of Mohan's age. So if we go here, we can see this is Mohan age. Let me write something to confirm this. Mohan age is plus. This is how we append it, as we have seen in the previous lectures. Mohan age is 41. So let me do one more time for Chandru also. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add one more variable Chandru age equals it needs, I mean, it returns something. This Chandru age is expecting a value from your function, so I'm returning this. And to console log age, I'm going to say Chandru age is 31. Okay, so I expect you to do for Ram, so that you will understand how to do it. Okay, so what we have seen is we have we have created a function with one argument, then we did with two arguments, and now what we are doing is we are returning the function's value and catching that in a variable and storing it. Okay, these are some of the few things that we have done here. Okay guys, so let's move on to the next part, in which in which we are going to just remove all the arguments from here. So you don't have to necessarily pass an argument here. Let's create one function here. Function you have to pass the name here. What I'm going to do is this a console function. See, I'm following the same notation for camel case notation for our function name declaration also. Here I'm going to console dot log of this function is called. So let's comment these things out. You see, this is a function, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to call this function console function. I haven't passed any arguments or parameters here, so in that case this function is called. Okay, this is how we can write out a function without any arguments here. Okay. So I hope you have understand all the things about functions, guys. So let me see, we can have one more thing here, variable test equals console.function. So here again this function is called, even though we have assigned a variable here, it doesn't return anything, because this function is called as void function. For something we don't have to, for some functions it doesn't expect any what do you say, it doesn't expect any return values from this, because console.log is not going to return anything. If we check here, return sends a value from here so that we can catch that in any of our variables here, but in this case it is just going to print something in the screen, so it is not going to give a value to the test. Okay, these are ways to call a function. This is just a void function, it is not going to return you anything, so you can call like this or like this, it is not going to make any difference. So thanks guys, that's all with the functions here. So in the next thing, the next chapter we will see about what exactly is a function expression, and what is the function statement here. So if you are familiar with these things, you should be pretty comfortable working with JavaScript, because already we have seen what is a variable and how to assign variable values. Now we have understood functions in which we are going to do your business logics. So combining variables and functions, now you have built something which can be made as a working thing and share it with others. Okay, so I hope if you had followed with me through these articles, then you should be pretty comfortable with creating a simple application like a calculator, a simple calculator which can have a addition function, which can have multiplication and division and subtraction functions, and just by passing variables you can do your calculations here. I strongly recommend you to do those sort of things. Again, we'll do that as a part of our coding challenge, and if you are familiar with that, then you should be pretty much comfortable doing these things. Last chapter we have seen about lots and lots about function, and we have seen how to get a variable and get the value from a function, and how to console log it, and how to call a multi-parameter function, and how to call a void function when a return value is coming from a function, how to catch it. So there are so many things we have seen. So in this chapter we are going to see about function expressions and function statement. Okay, so let me write out a function expression straight away, so that you will see what exactly is a function expression. Okay, so I'm going to write out function expression for this calculate age. Let me take var calc age equals, so I'm just going to copy this thing and pass it here. So I'm going to remove this. Okay, so we have changed this to this. I'm just going to console log C of this, and so if you are going to do function expression, you should call the function after it is declared. So I'm going to move this after the function has been declared. So it's not applicable for function. If you write like this, you can call it from above or below, but if you're writing a function expression, it should be called from below only. Okay, we will see a lot more about that in hoisting. Let's concentrate on this one. So I have called Mohan age. So from here I'll get the console, and that will be passed here. Okay, current year is not defined, so I'm going to take this one out. Okay, so this is Mohan's age. This is how you write out a function. Basically you take like this. So if you're returning something, and if your function returns something, then it should be, or it is a best practice to write it out in a function expression. Whereas if your function doesn't return anything, it is just going to be a thing which is going to perform an action, and it is not going to return something. For example, a console.log, it is just going to print something out, and it is not going to return anything. Then it is a good thing to write it as a normal function, which is called as this one is called as function expression, whereas this one is called as a function declaration or a function statement. So let me directly write it. So nothing is returned, then write out a function statement. Whereas if there is a return, then function expression can be written. So this is a best practice, guys. There is no wrong in writing out function statement if you're getting a return value, because we have already written this and it is working fine. It is just a good way to write it. So it's not a hard or fast rule to strongly adhere to it. It is just a good way of writing these things. Okay, so maybe in the future classes we are going to see something about a fat arrow function, in which we are will not have these sort of rules and all. Okay, this is just a good practice if you are writing out or starting out JavaScript. Okay, so this is how you write out a function expression, and this is how you write a function declaration or function statement. Okay, so uh, this is how functions work, people. So you don't have to uh, get frustrated with the functions. It is as simple as that. Start working more on it, so you will understand a lots and lot about function. Okay, so in this forthcoming courses and modules, we are going to see about we are going to build a mini project in which we will see most of the business logics. All the business logics will be under functions only. So we'll be getting hold of it. So at least start working on your own, so we'll understand what a function is, and how to call it, how to call a void function, how to call a parameterized function. Okay, so just before winding up this chapter, I would like to show you guys one more thing. uh, let's write out something like type of for 14. So this returns you something. So if you just I'll just remove everything. Let me type of, if I write my name Chandru, without entering that, it is showing me this is going to be the value we're going to get. Okay, so if I do enter, it's giving me something. So this is an expression. So what is the statement? So let's log if true. If I type something, it is not giving me any suggestions or the result here. So if I do that, it is giving me undefined. Okay, this is the value which we got. This is from the console, but this is from my console.log. It is not returning anything. Okay, so but type of Chandru returns a string, but in this case, if if statement didn't return anything, this is just a console log which I did. Okay, so it just return undefined. So this is a expression, this is an expression, and this is just a statement. Okay, if statement and type of expression. Okay, so expressions and functions are not only limited to functions, it is there in all the JavaScript. So I hope you have understood something more about expressions and functions. uh, and the next chapter will see an important topic. So how we are going to access the arrays and objects in JavaScript.